A very good morning and Jai Hind to everyone. Again welcome to all of you for the physics classes. Dear students, in last class we discussed about the charge and its types. Today we will discuss about the properties of the charge. We will also discuss how many ways are there by which we can charge the body. One by one, each things we will go to read. First, we will go to read about properties of charge. In last class, we have already discussed there are two types of the charges. One positive and another negative charge. There are two types of the charge, positive and negative. As a symbol form, somewhere it is represented by the capital Q symbol. And you can also see plus Q or small q symbol also. Any symbol take it, does not a big matter. And the unit of the charge is coulomb. It's a name of the scientist you will read in detail about in a 10th class. Now, what is the basic property of the charge? Very important, try to understand. First point is very important. Same charges will repel each other. Means what? If we are thinking about the plus q and another charge is plus q is small, then they will repel to each other. And if we are thinking about the minus q and minus q also, they will also repel. Try to understand what is the reason for the repulsion. Because they have a same charges. It's a positive, it's also positive. It's a negative, it's also negative. But don't forget it. The first point, same charges repel each other. Similarly, different charges will attract each other. Different charges will attract to each other. That means plus will attract to the minus and the minus will attract to the plus. Actually, there are so many properties of the charge, but the basic and very important property which we will discuss in our syllabus, it is only one. The same charges will repel to each other and the different charges will attract to each other. Okay, charge is represented by the symbol plus q or a small q, and the unit for the charge is coulomb. It is the name of the scientist. So I am writing the one statement for that purpose. Please try to understand according to properties of the charge. Same charges Same charges means plus Q to plus Q or minus Q to minus Q. will repel to each other, will repel to each other, but different charges will attract each other. Just with the help of one example, I want to clarify it more. Whenever I told the Na plus, we know that it's a positive charge. Whenever we are telling about the Cl minus, we told that it is the negative charge. It is the positive, it is the negative. That means they will attract to each other. But if we are thinking about same type of charges like a Na plus and Al also plus 3. Al plus 3, that means Al means aluminium, you know that, plus 3, it has a 3 charges. Means that it's eject the 3 charges, eject the 3 electrons. So it is positive, it is also positive, so they will repel to each other. So basic meaning is that according to the properties of the charge, same charges will repel to each other and different charges will attract to each other. Clear? Now we are going for the next point. How can we charge any body? That means now we will learn there are how many patterns to charge any object or any body. That means different ways of charging body, In last class we have already discussed there are 3 ways by which we can charge any body. The first name rubbing, second conduction, and the third induction. Rubbing, conduction, and the third induction. Please try to understand. These are 3 ways by which we can charge any body or any object. You have already discussed about the rubbing. You know about the sodium, chlorine, when we start rubbed. We have already discussed if we are thinking about the Na, how many charges on any atom? You told very clearly 0. How many charges on Cl? You told 0. But when these two atoms rubbed to each other, rubbing to each other, then some electrons, that means the one electron from sodium atom eject and comes into chlorine. Then we told Na has a positive charge and a Cl has a negative charge. You know about that. What I am revising, just only one point with the help of before rubbing. If you are thinking before rubbing, the sodium has 0 charge, chlorine has 0 charge. What happened after the rubbing? We saw after rubbing the sodium has positive charge and chlorine has positive charge. Means they are charged by after which rubbing process. Now we will go to discuss about the conduction and then we will go to discuss about the induction. How can we charge any object with the help of conduction and induction? One by one. What are we going to reading? Don't forget, we are going to read about charging by conduction. Conduction is a one process by which we can charge any object. Please try to understand also the basic difference between conduction and induction also. First we are going to discuss about the conduction. Suppose that we have an object with the name of the object A, and it has a neutral charge, that means 0 charge, not a positive, not a negative. So I am telling, suppose that it's a neutral, and we have another object which has a positive charge. Please try to understand, at the present time the object B has a positive charge and object A is neutral, that means it has no charge. We will see how shall we pass the charges from the object B to the object A. Again I am repeating. We will see how shall we pass the charges from the object B to the object A. By conduction. Conduction means both the things should be comes in contact. I repeat, both the things should be comes in contact. And if at the present time I am watching, they are not in a contact. I am also specifying in object B how many number of charges are here. Suppose that 100 Coulomb charges, and we connect them with the help of any conductor. Whenever we will connect these two, A and B, with the help of any conductor, what will be happen? The charges will start to flow from the object B to the object A. Just like as a heat, you know that if this hand is very hot and this hand is very cool, and if you will touch them, what will happen? The heat will start to flow from the higher temperature to the lower temperature. At the present time we are seeing object B has a 100 coulomb charge and object A has a neutral charge, means zero charge. Then the charges will start to flow from the object B to the object A. Till how much time? Till they will come in a equilibrium. Means when we connect them, then charges will start to flow from the object B to the object A, and the flotation will stop when the Q has here a 50 coulomb and here also Q has a 50 coulomb. That means total charges are the 100, and when they divide it into equal parts, then we told it's a equilibrium. When they will come in equilibrium, the flotation of charges will stop. So now generally we can say, how can we charge any object with the help of the conduction, with the help of the contact with any conductor? If we shall contact with any charging conductor, the charges will start to move in neutral till it will become in an equilibrium position. Clear? Now we are going to think about another process by which we can charge any body. Yes, it's a charging by induction. Charging by induction. The basic difference between the conduction and induction is only one. In conduction, both the objects are come in contact with them with the help of any conducting things or just like as a clothes. But the charging by induction, in this process you will see the object will charge but without touching them. I repeat again, the charging by induction means that we will charge any object but without touching by any other object. See how? See here, we can see here the two objects are in a contact like that, A and B. A and B are two objects are in a contact and they stand on any stand. They are situated on any stand. In the next step, what are we going to do? We will just take a negative charge plate near the any sphere like a or a B. Just I am showing again diagram. I never told the A, B are the neutrals, but we don't know how many charges are there or how many, what is the condition, we don't know. Just try to understand, we arrange the one negative plate near the sphere A. Just you read it. Same charges will repel each other and the different charges will attract each other. Please try to understand also, here this negative plate is not directly contact with the sphere. It has some distance. Gap is also available. It's complete negative plate. So whatever the positive charges are available in this sphere A and B, they will attract to them. And all the positive charges will come near that, like this. What happened about the negative charge? You know that it's a negative charge plate, so it will it will repel the negative charges, and the negative charges will come in another side. Please try to understand, in these sphere A and B, positive and negative charges are available in a mix-up form. When we put our negative plate here, it will attract the positive charges and the positive charges will come in a one side of the sphere A, and negative charges will repel by the negative plates, so it will become in another side of the plate. The most important thing is what? They are not in a contact. They are not in a contact. Now, the same position, we are not removing that, we are just putting the B sphere another side. See the another diagram. Negative plate, sphere A, that means positive, sphere A, stand. Now we are putting the sphere B some away. That means sphere A and sphere B are not in contact. And what will be happen then if we shall remove this negative plate? Now if we will remove this negative plate from this position, these all the positive charges will disperse in the sphere equally, like that. Sphere A. In similar way, sphere B. What is the important thing is there? We charge two objects A and B, positive and negative, but without touching. So basic difference between the conduction and induction is only one. In conduction, we can charge any object when the two things are in direct contact. But in induction, we can charge the two objects, but without actual touching to them, without actual contact to each other. Clear? Now we are going for the next topic. Now we are going to discuss about conductor and insulator. From the beginning we read about the very basic difference between the conductor and insulator. General language we told current can flow in a conductor and current cannot flow in insulator. But now we are in a senior classes, so we will tell the things in some different way. Whenever we are saying about the conductor or insulator, please try to understand electrons are available in both the things. That means in conductor also and insulator also. Like we saw, any atom has electrons and a proton. Electrons are available in both of the things. But what is the basic problem? We told it's a conductor and we told it's an insulator. In conductor, we got the free electrons. Free electrons. Here in conductor, the free electrons are available to move from the one point to the another or a one end to the another. But insulator, electron, I repeat again, some students are confused for this point. Electrons are also available in insulator, but free electron are not available. The basic difference between the conductor and insulator is only one. Here the free electrons are available, here the free electrons are not available. When you have a more free electrons, it's a good conductor. When you have a very we have not a free electrons, we don't insulator. So now we will change the definition of the conductor and insulator. We will say that definition in some different way. Conductor means free electrons are available and insulator means free electrons are not available to move in conductor, to move in wire or any material from the one end to the another. Clear? Now we are going to discuss about electroscope and the gold leaf electroscope. It's the one type of homework for you. Each one will see so many similarities between them. So in the next class, we will discuss about the electroscope and the gold leaf electroscope. Thank you and have a nice day. Take care.